Families across the country started to get nervous about their marriages.
What this means for families if the Supreme Court overturns more landmark rulings. But first,
I'm Craig Smith. The battle over what Arizona's abortion law should be plays out in the appeals court.
KGUN 9 News at 6 starts right now.
On air, online, on your side. You're watching KGUN 9 News at 6.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pat Paris.
And I'm Heidi Alaga. The battle over which abortion law should apply in the state of Arizona played out in a state appeals court today.
It's a matter of a nearly complete abortion ban that dates back more than 100 years or a less restrictive law the legislature passed last spring.
9 on your side's Craig Smith is live with more on the arguments. Craig?
Well, you're going to have to wait for a ruling on this issue. The three judges will not rule until they've taken time to consider what they heard. Last spring, state lawmakers passed a law that allows abortions up to 15 weeks of pregnancy, but also wrote in a provision that said that law does not prevent the state from enforcing a law that dates back to before Arizona was even a state. That law is a nearly complete ban on abortion. Planned Parenthood sued, asking the courts to clarify which law really should apply. It argues applying the old law throws out all the other abortion laws the legislature passed in the years since that law from Arizona's territorial years.
So we have proposed an interpretation for both 133603, the territorial era ban, as well as the dozens of statutes passed between 1973 and today, including the 15-week law that would allow physicians to continue providing abortions consistent with the laws and regulations, including the 15-week law.
A lawyer representing Attorney General Mark Brnovich told the judges the old and new laws can work in combination. Time ran out before Mark Lippelman had a chance to argue in front of the judges. He represents a doctor designated to look out for the rights of unborn babies.
So this case is essentially how do you fit all of those different laws together that were enacted under different circumstances.
How do you?
Well, you give each their effect, and so that means the legislature wants to provide comprehensive protection, and it's no longer shackled by Roe to do so, and so you're able to provide that protection and also retain, in those sad circumstances where an abortion is necessary to save the life of a mother, then you have the other regulations in play as well.
Abortion up to 15 weeks will remain legal while the case makes its way through the courts. Now again, there's no real timeline for exactly when these appeals court judges will rule. They will consider the case and issue that ruling when they are ready. Reporting live, Craig Smith, KGUN 9 on your side.
Craig, thank you. Planned Parenthood Arizona CEO Brittany Fonteno releasing a statement today reading in part, quote, "We are hopeful that the Arizona Court of Appeals will not reinstate the Superior Court's order, which would be contrary to the will of the people of Arizona, who have shown time and again that they overwhelmingly support abortion access."
She went on to say, "Our health center doors remain open and we are committed to continuing to provide full range of lawful sexual and reproductive health care, including abortion," end quote.
The Senate taking a historic step by passing the Respect for Marriage Act.
Now, the legislation could codify marriage equality into federal law. It passed 61 to 36 with bipartisan support. The bill wouldn't make all states issue marriage licenses to same-sex or interracial couples, but if Supreme Court cases like Obergefell versus Hodges or Lawrence versus Texas were to be overturned, it would require a state to recognize another state's marriage if that were the case. We spoke to Senator Kirsten Sinema today, who says the bill shows how far the country has come in bridging divides.
By repealing the Defense of Marriage Act, we're simply saying that marriages are the same, that everyone has the same kind of marriage, and that no matter what state you move to after you're married, you should be able to have access to a fair legal system in that state.
The House is expected to pass the bill next week. It'll then head to President Biden's desk for his signature.
The U.S. House of Representatives has voted to avert a freight rail strike. The bill is now in the hands of the Senate, which needs to pass it before a strike date of December 9th. For months, there's been a stalemate between the workers' unions and the railroads, with one strike averted in September after a tentative agreement was reached. U.S. House Democrats making history with their pick to succeed Nancy Pelosi as their party leader. Today, the party selecting current caucus chair Hakeem Jeffries to serve as House Minority Leader next year. Jeffries ran unopposed The New York Democrat will be the first black person ever to lead a major party in the House or Senate.
President Joe Biden will be in Arizona next week. The White House says the president will be in Phoenix Tuesday for a visit to the Taiwan semiconductor manufacturing company. He's expected to discuss how his economic plan is leading a manufacturing boom. Governor Doug Ducey will be joining the president during his visit. Governor-elect Katie Hobbs is set to be inaugurated January 5th, 2023. Hobbs' team made that announcement today. Adrian Fontes, Chris Mays, Kimberly Yee, and Tom Horn are expected to be inaugurated alongside her. However, there could be some complications for that lineup. If Cochise County fails to certify its election results by December 5th, the county's votes could go uncounted, and that could flip the race for Superintendent of Public Instruction.
We're preparing to take office. We have a very the current superintendent, Kathy Hoffman, has been very gracious, has agreed to a friendly transition. We're working toward that, and we're not affected by any of this because I just think the Board of Supervisors will take the necessary action to be sure that all those important races are not reversed.
Republican Tom Horn leads Democrat Kathy Hoffman by nearly 9,000 votes. The race for Attorney General between Republican Abe Hamadeh and Democrat Chris Mays is extremely close, separated by just 510 votes. It will go to an automatic recount.
Now to your health watch. RSV, COVID, and flu cases are on the rise across Arizona, with nearly 99% of all pediatric hospital beds in use.
From schools to daycare centers, cleaning rooms and toys is key to helping the kids stay safe. At Timeless Play, the staff makes sure each child washes their hands before they come into the center. Director Alana McDonald says the kids usually stay home when they're sick, which of course helps stop the spread.
So whatever I just hear from parents, and we've had some that think it's RSV that has turned into like ear infections or other infections. So I don't know that it's completely wiped us out or gone through the whole center or anything like that, but it's definitely there.
And doctors encourage parents to call their primary care provider for help before heading to the hospital.
Pima County is launching a new mobile health clinic to help reach more people. It will offer COVID-19 vaccinations, flu shots, STI, and pregnancy tests.
Yeah, the clinic will set up at different library locations across the county starting this Friday. Its first stop, the Ekstrom Columbus Library, located on East 22nd. It'll be open from 10:30 in the morning until 3:30 in the afternoon. A new lithium battery gigafactory could be coming to Tucson, along with hundreds of jobs, if the Pima County Board of Supervisors gives it the green light. American Battery Factory, a Utah-based company, plans to build a $1.2 billion plant at the Aerospace Research Campus south of the Tucson Airport. The plant will eventually need 1,000 workers with an average starting salary of $65,000. It will produce lithium iron phosphate battery cells. That Board of Supervisors, they will be taking up the plan next Tuesday.
Now, KGUN 9 on your side, first morning weather.
Well, let's bring in Kyler. What
That's
a day.
right. You know what, Kyler, I will say I was out of town during Thanksgiving break, but when I came back, I was like, gosh, this is perfect weather.
Yeah, it's been really nice. Got things to warm up over the last few days, and today was no different. Wow, what a nice afternoon we had. Hope you got to enjoy some of the warm air and the sunshine that we had return this afternoon after those high clouds this morning. Highs in the 70s for most of us, 76 degrees this afternoon in Tucson. And there's what you missed this morning if you slept in or were inside all morning. We had some high clouds drifting through. Sunshine came out this afternoon, allowed those temperatures to climb. And right now we're still hanging in there. 68 degrees in Tucson, 60 in Sierra Vista, 54 in Wilcox. But there are some changes on the way for your weekend. We'll tell you all about it coming up in the forecast.
All right, Kyler, thank you. A Tucson mom getting another reason to smile.
That's right, the $50,000 makeover that she was surprised with. That's next. You're watching KGUN 9 on your side. The Emerge Center Against Domestic Abuse is launching a new hiring initiative to fill their staffing shortages. There will be a meet and greet session tomorrow. It's available to anyone interested in applying. Attendees can learn more about the open positions and what type of values the center is looking for in its employees. Registration for the event is required, and we do have the information posted on kgun9.com.
Saurita, mother of 4, will receive a new smile. Now, Audrey works full-time, there she is, as a medical support, a medical assistant, I should say, to support her children. She says her teeth began to fall out after her 4th pregnancy. She was selected out of 340 applicants to receive a $50,000 smile makeover, courtesy of Tucson Oral Surgeons and the Second Chance program. We didn't hear the big announcement, but she was excited.
I will say, I mean, just it's such a big part of, you know, your look, your teeth, and just and the way we operate every single day, and it's just amazing. She really deserves it.
Absolutely. And we've got a weather forecast we absolutely deserve as well, Kyler.
Yeah, this thing will make you smile, I hope.
I was going to say, you have nice teeth, Kyler.
Why, thank you, and you as well, and Pat as well. So we'll just continue passing off the compliments here. But you know what? You got to go all the way back to October to find any significant rainfall across southern Arizona. We're going to try and hit the reset button on that in the forecast. You will see. And
just minutes away, the Tucson International Airport welcoming visitors from the north, arriving on the first nonstop flight from Canada.
Keep it right here. You're watching KGUN 9 on your side.
Tucsonans can now add plans to visit our neighbors to the north.
The first nonstop flight to Canada with Flair Airlines took off this afternoon from the Tucson International Airport, and the airport also welcoming the first Canadian visitors as they stepped off their flight and into the terminal.
It's going to bring more business to our airport and to our community. There's a lot of people who have not seen Tucson before. They don't know that what it has to offer or the beauty it has. This will be a first opportunity for them to see our region and really fall in love with it the way we have.
Now, the partnership will offer nonstop flights to and from Canada to southern Arizona every Wednesday and Sunday during the winter months. I gotta feel like the planes are going to be more full this time of the year coming down from Canada, probably a little more full going back a little later on.
I would say so. Looks like they got a nice welcome out there too with the water guns and all that stuff. That was fun. Yeah. Well, and it was a great day to welcome that service because, wow, what And man, temperatures in the 70s, yeah, that'll have the Canadians flocking here, trying to get some of this sunshine and the warm air. 76 the high. Keep in mind our average high on this last day of November. Hard to believe that too. 69 degrees. 43 is where we started out this morning. That was right on the nose for the average on this last day of November. 85 and 23, the record extremes. Did you see that sunset time there? 5:19. Well, we're only going to lose 1 more minute of daylight in the afternoon, but we're still going to continue to lose a little bit of daylight in the mornings. Okay, so I bring this up because did you know, meteorologically speaking, this is the last day of fall? I know a lot of us traditionally look at the astronomical calendar when it comes to the seasons, and of course fall doesn't end until we get to the winter solstice there at the 3rd week of December, but meteorologically speaking, December, January, and February are the winter months. It just keeps it a little bit more organized for climatological reasons. So winter begins, meteorologically speaking, tomorrow. But it's not going to feel much like it. 68 degrees right now at the airport, 31 degrees on the dew point, 25% humidity. Let's take you into that trend forecast for the overnight hours, where we'll see temperatures dropping into the 40s overnight. Still pretty nice, though, for this time of the year. Big storm system moving off to the northeast, another one coming into the northwest. There's our high clouds that passed overhead a little bit earlier today, leaving behind clear skies for tonight and a nice southwesterly flow that is bringing in some warmer air. Now, we'll be in and out of the high clouds over the next few days, but this weekend we'll see some subtropical moisture coming up over southeastern Arizona, and that will lead us to get some showers finally on Saturday and Sunday. Now, the models are still trying to agree on just how much rain, how long it's going to last. Some of these are saying we could even see a few sprinkles lingering into Monday. As far as the rainfall totals, I've been talking about this today. It looks like some of these models are being a little bit too aggressive on the rainfall totals. This one here, we're going to run it all the way through Monday. So this would be a 3-day total for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Check that out. Pretty impressive. Some areas could see upwards of an inch or so. And I noticed this model here in the last hour has backed off just a little bit. This is looking a little bit more realistic for a 3-day total. So if we could get a ½ inch of rain out of the deal, that'd be really good because it has been so dry around here lately. Overnight tonight, 20s and 30s in the higher elevations east of Tucson, 40s in the high and the lower elevations in and around Tucson. For tomorrow, highs back into the 70s for many of us, a few 60s in the higher elevations. Taking you through the weekend, it's not going to cool off all that much because this is a subtropical air mass that's coming in here, and then we'll cool it off a little bit early next week, but good stretch of weather to start December.
Certainly looks that way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well done, Kyler. Hats off to you.
Well, thank you. Kind of an early Christmas gift
Yeah,
if we
thanks.
get that rain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kyler. Well, Arizona softball releases its 2023 schedule.
Yeah, the Wildcats coming off that appearance in the Women's College World Series. The inaugural event the Wildcats will host this May. That's next. You're watching KGUN 9 on your side.
Now, KGUN 9 on your side sports with Jason Barr.
Sean Miller hasn't talked much about leaving Arizona a year and a half ago until now. The CBS reporting crew shadowed the current Xavier bench boss during the recent Phil Knight Basketball Invitational. Here's some of what Miller said, quote, "I have zero bitterness towards Arizona. I have 3 sons that are graduated from there. Every one of them had not a good experience, a great experience. The people, the community, the fans, just our friends. You miss them because they treated you right. And I think the last part of it is, it was just time, man. I think Arizona is in a better place. I think in some ways, I'm in a better place, you know?" Well, it has now been more than 5 years since the FBI first implicated Arizona basketball in the college basketball bribery case. There is still no finality from the Independent Accountability Resolution Process, a committee which the NCAA no longer uses. Well, this year's 4th-ranked Tommy Lloyd-led Wildcats visit Utah tomorrow in the conference opener. It is a 6:30 game on the Pac-12 network. Arizona softball announces its 2023 schedule. A highlight, the Wildcats will host the inaugural Pac-12 tournament. It's going to be in the second week of May, just after the regular season concludes. Well, this year's Arizona women's basketball team is a mix of experienced seniors and promising freshmen. The 14th-ranked Wildcats are 6-0 to start the season. Jade Lavelle was second in the Pac-12 in scoring last year, but is just 4th on this year's Wildcat team.
When you look at the whole stat sheet, it's anyone's night, any game. And so it may be my game next Sunday or Saturday, and it may be anybody else's game. And I think that's the great part of having a team where you have to guard all of us, honestly, because we have scorers on all parts of the floor.
I think the adjustment and the true test is like, you got to put we before me. And I think that's hard for a lot of people, but that's how we're going to be successful. So if we're just worried about our offense and we're not worried about other things, we're not going to be good. So once we understand that it's a team game and we're only as good as our teammates, and it's not about how much you score, it's about being a complete player and playing on both ends of the floor, then we're going to be good.
Shanna Pellington missed last Saturday's game with an ankle injury. Adia Barnes says she was at about 80% and could have played. The Wildcats visit New Mexico on Sunday. Heidi and Pat, that's what happened with last year's team.
Yep.
It works well when you're winning, but when you aren't,
the
fingers start pointing.
And then going to get tested eventually, too. We'll see that. Good team, though. Very good team. Jason, thank you. Back with more.
We'll be right back.
Just want to remind you about the 17th annual Tucson Tamal and Heritage Festival happening at the Ava Amphitheater this Saturday from 10 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon.
And if you want to take part in the tamale contest, there's still time to participate. You just have to show up between 7 and 11 in the morning with a dozen fully cooked tamales, and the person who makes the best tamal will win $750. I'm really excited about this event.
You're going out there, aren't you?
I'm a judge in this contest.
Well,
That's good.
Bring your appetite, and you're going to
I'm
taste
ready.
some good tamales.
Yeah,
I'm
it's always a
excited.
fun time. Might have to dodge a few raindrops while you're out there. You know, December many times does bring some beneficial winter rain as winter begins, and kind of like right on cue this weekend, we do have some showers in the forecast, but temperatures still pretty comfortable in the lower 70s in Tucson, mid 60s in Sierra Vista, and then next week, that's when we'll dry out and cool off a little bit.
Yeah, not bad though. Love those 70s. Kyler, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us.
We'll see you back here tonight at 10.
I'm Tina Giuliano. RSV cases are on the rise across Arizona, and pediatric hospital beds are nearly full.
Cleaning and sanitizing has always been a part of the process.
Coming up, we'll hear from a local daycare about how they keep their kids safe.
Plus, a historic ruling in D.C., the Senate passing the Defense of Marriage Act, protecting same-sex and interracial marriages.